Let's take a look at how to embed or include a Khan Academy lesson in Google Classroom. Now, of course, on this screen, you see that I am inside my Google Classroom. I have two classrooms. The distance learning guide that you've been using in order to learn to create distance learning Google Classroom assignments. And I'm going to use this demo class here to show you how to do the Khan Academy integration. So the first thing we want to do is I'm going to go over to another tab, and I'm going to go ahead and go to khanacademy.org because I need to find the lesson that I want my students to interact with. Now, for my demo, we're going to pretend that I'm a sixth grade classroom and that we are just starting our ratio, rates, and percentage units. I'm going to click on that and take a look at the lessons that Khan Academy includes for the ratio unit. Now, because this is the start of that unit, I do want to just start with the first lesson, and I want to take a look, of course, at that lesson and see how it's going to fit my needs. If you take a quick look, you'll see that it has two videos. One is an intro to video, intro to ratios, and the next is kind of a little bit deeper on basic ratios. And then it has a practice session. The practice session is an online session that allows kids to answer questions. Of course, they will need paper and pencil to work out those problems. And it also tracks their progress or their success. It integrates direct with Google Classroom through this button. And so that's the first thing I want to do. Anything that the kids are going to interact with, that needs to be at the top of my assignment. And so this is going to create my assignment. So I'm going to go ahead and say, click on the Google Classroom integration. And this button or this pop-up will pop up. It's asking me to choose what class I want to use this assignment in. And it's going to be my demo classroom. And what action? Do I want it to be an assignment, to ask a question, make an announcement, or create a static material? Well, I want this to be an assignment because I want my students to click on the basic ratios practice session and complete the practice session. And I want to know when they've done that. So I'm going to create an assignment and then click OK or go. Once I've done that, I can go ahead and look at all of the information. And it's actually easier to look at this when I'm back in Google Classroom. So just from here, I'm just going to click Assign. And it's going to assign it to my classroom and then close that window. Now I'm going to go back to Google Classroom. Here's my demo class and go up to classwork where my assignments are. And there is my assignment. It's called Khan Academy Basic Ratios. I might want to change the date, the title of that, but I want to go ahead and edit. So I'm going to edit the assignment. Right here, of course, I'm going to include any instructions I want my students to have. I'm going to tell them that you're going to need pencil and paper for practice. And now I want to include some of those videos to help my students begin to explore ratios, because we need to learn about ratios before we actually click on the practice button. So I'm going to go back to Khan Academy. It's right here on my tab. And here are those two videos I want to include. I'm going to take a look at this first one. Of course, as a teacher, I'm going to watch it first to make sure it's exactly what I want. And you notice right up here in the upper right-hand corner, I have copy link. I'm simply going to copy the link, go back to my classroom assignment, and I'm going to add that link, paste it in. You'll notice that the introduction to ratios will come underneath the practice session. There unfortunately is no way to reorganize these, but I still wanted that practice session to be the first thing to start the assignment because this is the session that I want to track. The introduction ratio video will be next. Then I'm going to go back up. I want them to watch the basic ratios video. I'm going to click on it. Of course, as a teacher, I'm going to preview that video. I'm going to copy the link and go back to classroom and add that link again. And then, of course, in my instructions, I might put in here some steps to the lesson. Watch the two videos first, and then complete the practice session. Now that I have my instructions, I'm going to go ahead and take a look at my options panel. I, of course, want this assignment to be assigned to all students. I can assign a point value or mark that it will be ungraded, and I can assign a due date. Students can turn in assignments after the due date, but by assigning a due date, they'll know, of course, when it's due. If you're organizing any of your lessons by topics, you can do that as well. And if you have a rubric for the scoring guide or for the scoring of this assignment, you can create your rubric. Once you've done that, go ahead and click on Save, and it'll save your assignment to your classwork, and your students will be able to see that immediately.